Hello, hello. Today I want to talk about the topic of creativity, and my understanding is that we are all creative in some form. And with that understanding, then also comes, well, therefore, we all have the power to grow and heal. And so let me just unpack that a little bit more. I understand, should I say, that many of us may not feel like we're creative at all. We have no creative expression. There's nothing that we do that we consider to be creative in our lives. We might not. Many people do not perceive if they have some kind of job, for that job to be creative or very creative at all. And so I guess my intention around this is just put this question to you is, what is your creativity? Like, is it painting? Is it dancing? Is it to do with food? Is it guitar? Is it poetry? Is it gardening? I encourage you to expand your perception of what creativity and what art is to you, because I'm sure that you're aware within modern society, certain nations, depending on what kind of communities you associate yourself in, it can be quite a very narrow definition and perception of what art and what creativity is. But once you actually start to expand upon that, beyond that sort of that very narrow perception, you will start to see, oh wow, actually I do have a creative expression, and so does my friend, and so does my mum, and so does everybody around me. Whether they actually choose to do that, or whether they actually choose to even see that, that's completely up to them. But it is up to you as to what your creative expression is and whether you choose to use that. And I guess a good tool, if you're still stuck in this of I don't have a creative expression. What do you mean not every single person has a creative expression? Then a good technique would be to go visit, that 5-year-old you, that inner child. What was it that child liked to do that just brought them an endless amount of joy? What is it that they love doing? And then bring that back to where you are now in this moment. And that may then help as an indicator of what is at least one of your creative expressions. And, obviously with creative expressions, it can be really meditative. You're kind of tapping into more of the right side of the brain. And surely I'm making assumptions here, but surely you wouldn't be aware of the mental, emotional, physical, etherical properties of things such as art therapy. And art therapy, again, doesn't necessarily have a very narrow sort of perspective of what art is. It's just that getting into that practice of doing the art, being the creative that you do have in you, and allowing that to come out. Maybe that's something you only do once a week. Maybe it's something you do once a month. Maybe you have an amazing opportunity in which you get to do that every single day. And so it's a reminder to connect back to that on a regular basis. And even more so when you're finding that you're overwhelmed and completely out of your alignment, or even slightly out of your alignment. Bring that back in more through the use of your creative expression, because you will find, I shouldn't guarantee this, but you will find that the more you do your creative expression, you will experience more growth and more healing for yourself. It's a tool, right? And why not use it? A lot of creative expressions, some of them can be supposedly really expensive, some of them not. So you can put your own perceptions, your own restrictions around what you think that is and what you feel that is. But at the end of the day, that's really up to you as to whether you want to let that be imposed upon you as to excuse as to why you don't do it, or why you're not doing it, or why you're not looking after yourself. Because you will find that when you use your creative expression as a form of healing, growth, even without the actual intention of doing it, you will start to notice changes. And when you're doing that for yourself, you know, you don't, this is what I'm also saying, is you don't have to pay someone else to show you how to do that. You don't have to pay someone else to be able to do your creative expression. Okay, there could be some creative expressions that may require that, but a lot of them, it's not necessary. And so then through that, you can then help with the healing of those around you. You know, that's not to say just because you paint that your neighbor has to paint or your brother has to paint or any of that either, but just doing your creative expression, doing your work through that, like I said, it doesn't have to be intentional. It can just happen. Then it has a flow-on effect to those around you and encourages them and gives them the permission. Not that they should have to need the permission from you, but you know, it can give them the permission to pursue their own creative expressions, to do their own inner work, to do their own healing, their own growth. So yeah, it's just a nice little reminder for you today. If you're feeling like you don't have a lot of creativity, you don't think you have any creativity whatsoever, connect back into that. Remind yourself that, yeah, it's a really beautiful way of healing, of growth. And, you know, obviously it can be an amazing way of sharing beautiful things with other people. You know, if it's healing you, great. If it heals another person, even better. And then the flow-on effects from that, well, you can't always measure these things right in science, so it's really up to you which way you want to go with that. But yeah, if you've got anything that you'd like to share around you finding your creative expressions, using your creative expressions, what experiences you've had with, and what healing experiences you've had with your creative expressions, please leave that in the comments section down below. I've also got a number of other social media platforms which you can find me on, and those are in the link, well, in the description box below in the links, and I will see you on the next vlog.